Why don't we start with your name?
47.
That's not a name.
No, but it is mine.
What exactly are you?
An assassin.
And you're here to kill who?
You should really let me go.
The last time I checked, you're the one locked in here with me, and I'm the one with the gun.
No, Mr. Sanders. You're locked in here with me, and you just brought me mine.
Look, I know this is gonna sound strange, because it is. He's an engineered human being. Stronger, faster, more intelligent than normal people. They're called agents.
What does any of this have to do with me?
Your father started the agent program. He knows their weakness. You're the key to finding your father.
Hello.
Look, they have our have our hashtag things up there. That's so weird.
Everyone can tweet about this. There's.
I guess
Rupert
it's not
in the-
weird. It's like AOL. It makes perfect sense, actually. But
They're kind of an online-based service. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming again. Let's talk about Hitman, Agent 47. We'll just get right into it. Icebreaker question. When did you... This is based on a video game. Are you guys video game people? Did you quit at Mrs. Pac-Man in the pizza parlor, or did you get somewhere more advanced these days? I don't know.
I like how you frame that question.
Because I hit it spot on, or...
For me, I did not evolve past the Nintendo original system, and I was really into that when I was in middle school and all those games, and then it just didn't go anywhere from there.
So your gunplay skills come from Duck Hunt.
That's right.
Okay.
Definitely.
It takes skill. Rupert, how about you?
Yeah, I had a Commodore 64. Did that happen here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had that?
Sure.
Sort of 1980s. Think you? Yeah. Okay. So I had a Commodore 64, and then nothing until Halo, and then this, a lot of this.
Oh, so did you played the Hitman games too?
Yeah, I had a lot of work to do. So
Didn't
I did.
you had an app of it on your phone when we were shooting, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, that was.
He was
the work.
really good at it. I remember. It was.
Yeah.
It was fun. I got hooked for about a day.
Yeah, and then he got bored.
And I just couldn't do as well.
There was work to do. Well, did you pick up anything from the game? That's interesting.
I'm pretty good at hiding bodies. I don't take out my gun if the police are around, and if I dress like someone else, then I make sure I don't go too near people that are dressed like me, and that way I don't get busted for things.
Hannah, I have not forgotten about you. What about your video game lifestyle? Is there one?
There is not, no. I remember being surrounded by FIFA a lot growing up. Mario Brothers was the last game I played in when? 1990.
Anyone know off the top of
that's
their
how
heads?
accomplished I am with the video game world. But I remember you on set used to play a lot of Candy Crush.
Oh, that was
got
bad
really into
moments.
Candy
Those were
Crush.
not good
Which
moments.
horrible Facebook friend did that to you? Or
I'm not on Facebook. I don't remember how it happened, but I've stemmed that. That's done. Done.
Lost great days to Candy Crush. Well, along the same lines, Zach, I'm curious. I know that you produce many films as well. You wear many hats, and I'm curious if video games have made an impact on the job you do making movies? You know, they seem to be blending in a way.
Well, more and more, aren't they? Yeah,
Yeah.
and like, you know, actors lending themselves to huge video game franchises, and it's obviously a really lucrative industry, the video game market. But I wouldn't say that anything we've done so far has been influenced by video games. We've done some comic book, graphic novel stuff that's a part of films that we're developing, but not yet so much video games for us.
Rupert, I'm curious. You play Agent 47 is genetically engineered to not have emotion, which just seems like a very difficult task when your job as an actor is to have some or come to the table with some. I'm curious about how you got into that mindset. How do you play with someone who is not supposed to think, just do?
Oh man, the how questions always trip me up. I don't ever know how to answer a how question. Can you rephrase it?
Yeah, well, maybe the better question is when you show up to set.
Can we go back to talking about Duck Hunt and stuff like that? 'Cause
when you showed up to set day one,
yes.
what is your way of getting in the zone? I suppose is it a physical thing? Are you like pounding music, or what are you doing?
I don't know, man. It's a.
You blacked out throughout the entire shoot.
Yeah,
There's absolutely no memory
I
of
was
it.
Drunk in a corner. They shaved my head. They made me do it.
Wait, let's talk about that. You did have to shave your head, which
you go.
frightens me. I mean, the idea of losing your hair.
That's what frightens you?
Would it come back? Yeah, forget about guns. They're going to work
You
the
do have
right
a good
way.
head
but
of hair,
does-
Matt.
natural
It's true.
Does the
I
hair
can see where
come
that would
back?
be a big fear.
Famine.
Oh, I would be terrified.
World peace. There are other things, but no, go on. You're terrified of shaving your
Well,
head.
yeah. Had you
Spiders.
done it before?
Try shaving your eyebrows.
I was
and
going
then
to say,
you
have you seen this? You have to live with this.
You can work the head in a little more easily to the look that you're creating, I think.
Okay, so you shaved your head.
Yeah.
How did it happen? Did it take convincing? That
Well,
might
they-
be terrifying. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they literally got this razor, they turned it on, and they just did it. And it was cold, and it was lonely, and it
So
was.
that's why you blacked out. I understand now.
But then, ironically, we did some kind of additional photography, and Zach had a shaved head. So then,
That's right.
Zach had to wear a fake hair for that,
Called a wig.
right?
Yes.
A wig, yes.
Commonly known as a wig.
I'm not from this planet.
overseas they call it fake hair.
A fake hair. Zach wore a
I
fake
did
hair.
have to wear a fake hair. It was so weird. It was so weird. I've never had to wear a fake hair before.
Never?
Well, yes, but not like that.
Lots.
Oh, I see.
Done it all the time, yeah.
Okay, so you're coming to the table. I mean, in this movie, you demonstrate some incredible fight choreography and gunplay. That takes training. They took you somewhere and they did something. What was it? What happened?
They took me somewhere and they did something. I took myself to a couple of places. There's a Krav Maga academy here in New York that I took myself to do some Israeli hand-to-hand sort of lethal combat stuff. Boxing, Filipino knife fighting, Muay Thai, judo, a lot of skipping. We sweated a bunch.
Filipino knife fighting. What is? I mean,
You can't fight anyone from another nationality. It doesn't work.
Well, can you describe what goes into some of these?
You find a
fights?
Filipino that you don't like, some cutlery,
And fight them.
and you fight them.
So what goes into
Those
choreographing these battles? I mean, is every move precision, or did they teach you in the fight schools how to
think
maneuver improv?
Zach and
basically?
I, it was like, let's just go, man. Let's just throw down.
Let's see what.
Let's see who wins.
They're out there. It is really precise, actually. And the moves are constructed obviously for the look of the fight, but then also you have to factor in the camera angles and setups and all of that. So we would break it down and work with the stunt team to kind of build up to full speed and build up to what we need to do on the day. So it is a part of the process that's in pre-production and training.
You took some serious tumbles, especially in the beginning of this movie. You seem to be rolling on the floor a lot.
Yeah, falling off of things.
You don't get a lot of that as Spock, but maybe you were.
I don't know.
Were you prepared?
I certainly got a lot of it in the last Trek movie. Actually, I mean, there was a tremendous amount of stunt stuff for Spock in that one. Yeah.
Hannah, I'm curious if this was something new for you, all this physical action, and if that was the most demanding part of it, or if just kind of figuring out what the movie your character was going through was even more difficult. I don't know.
It was a very challenging part of the movie. As Rupert's already said, apparently, in countless interviews, that I have really bad hand-eye coordination, which you can imagine.
Very supportive.
Why are you throwing her under the bus, Rupert?
I know.
Come on.
He's warned me, though. I did, and have you seen the movie?
Yes, I have.
Right. So it's very necessary that I become very good at it at a very fast pace, and it was just lots of repetition and learning various different pieces of fight choreography and handling guns, which is hard when you've got small hands and you have to sort of maneuver them and take them apart and things.
Is there a scene in the film or a certain amount of blocking that was the most difficult for you to kind of not remember but wrap your mind around and execute? I mean, I'm curious if there are moves that are more difficult than others for you.
I can't remember a specific fight move which was harder than the others. I do remember
all that wire work and stuff, and
the wire. Yeah, I was strung up for a very
around
long
and-
period of time in Singapore, a good sort of 10 hours, and that was just physically quite draining because your circulation gets lost and things. But yeah.
You mentioned going to Singapore. Where did you guys film this movie? It has a very European feel, this kind of sleek Euro vibe that we don't get a lot of in our Hollywood movies. And I'm curious, it seems like you're shooting on sets and they look amazing, or it's on location.
yeah,
Looks
we were
amazing.
on location entirely. We were in Berlin for 2 months-ish, and then we were in Singapore for a month, 3 weeks or something.
There's a scene that takes place in this garden.
Singapore.
What can you talk about shooting there? And it seems just like really, it's an amazing backdrop
It
for what
is.
you're doing.
Yeah, we were the first film to. We were one of the. Were we the first film to film in Singapore? So that was kind of special, wasn't it?
Architecturally, Singapore is
Yeah.
a really remarkable place.
Yeah,
and it's
stunning.
captured so beautifully, I think, in the movie. Architecture's, for me, it was like, I don't know, Singapore is it's a strange place. I was happy to experience it, but I wouldn't rush back. If I'm
Really?
gonna be
Wait,
honest.
why? That's really interesting. I'm curious about your take.
It seems like a very kind of sterile place. There wasn't a lot of like, I don't know. There just wasn't a lot of energy to hook into somehow. Like the architecture is it's like nowhere I've ever seen before. Really, the buildings there, and that was so impressive. But there wasn't really anything beyond it. For me personally, I know if you're a foodie, it's an amazing place to go, and there's tons of stuff to do for certain, but it just didn't resonate so much. Like Berlin's one of my favorite cities in the world.
Yeah.
We had a blast, and
Yeah.
I really love Berlin. But
When you say you had a blast in Berlin, what do you mean?
that's a different panel, man.
Fair. Well, Hannah, I'm curious. Your character is going through so much over the course of this movie, just learning about what the agent program is, finding her father. How much did you need to know? Just like the beginning of the movie opens with a solid explanation of what we're about to see. How much was in script? How much did you need to know? How much did you want to know when you were kind of diving into the material?
In what respect?
I guess in terms of like expositional, what the agents are, just like how this world functions. Does that matter to you as an actress, or can you just dive in?
I don't know if I understand the question. Sorry.
I think this is why, the movie is complicated because there's a lot to chew on.
Right.
How much do you need to chew on? How much do you need to sit down with Alexander and talk about?
Oh, we talked about things in
This
great
film.
length as to specifically. You have to be, because you shoot out of sequence as well. You have to be very specific in your mind as an actor as to what point in the story, and because there is a lot of information coming at you, especially for my character. You just have to be very specific about what I knew at certain points and what I didn't know. But
Right, that's actually really interesting because you're catapulted into this world and you pick up
Yeah.
things very quickly. Trying to shoot out of sequence sounds like a very difficult thing just to, okay, how much do I know? Like, how much confidence do I have walking through the airport?
The first thing that Hannah and I did together, I showed up in Berlin, and it was like a night shoot, and I don't know if it was your first night too. It was my first night on the movie. You might
Yeah.
have shot a few days already, but the first thing we had to do was the scene in a car where I'm getting her away from Rupert's character, and the driver of the car gets shot in the head, and like she's screaming, like what's going on? But like, to start it, that's your starting point. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's what's so fascinating about making films, because depending on the type of film that it is, your point of entry is going to be something entirely different. Like this is high action, high octane right off the bat. So for us, you do have to kind of have a clear sense of how it tracks, because you have to just get thrown in and kind of figure out.
And it's your responsibility to monitor it in terms of your kind of journey and arc as the character, but it can be really confusing when you're going. I mean, we shot the end in the first, couple of weeks, didn't we? So there was.
Which has a lot of action. I don't think I'm spoiling anything, but, suggesting that. Yeah, that's huge. Rupert, I want to talk about the suit that you wear in this movie. One, tell me about the suit. But two, then how is it difficult to maneuver in? Is it difficult to perform in this kind of like very fancy, very sleek outfit?
Yeah. The suit was very important for me. I always saw it as a bit like sort of Wilson in Castaway. It's like his only friend. And we actually shot a scene, I haven't seen the movie, but I doubt it's in there, of 47 kind of almost talking to it, which was my idea. I didn't make the movie for some reason, I can't think why. But there was this notion that he really took care only about one thing, and that was the suit. There was no human beings in his life. And so we went and tried on suits at every single fashion label house you've ever heard of, and none of them sort of felt right. And in the end, we had a tailor come over from Madrid, Spain, and made one on my body, and then made a bunch of them. And I fought in all of them. There were no elastic suits. There were no cheated suits. I did all the fights in the actual suits.
And you do get to dress up in a few crazy outfits in here. It almost looks difficult to keep the Age of 47 stoic face when you're dressed up in like different guards. Was that just plain silliness?
Which is the funniest one?
I think you dress up as a guard, army guard type person. It's very funny, but in a good way.
Funny.
Well, so is there room for humor? In that's what's interesting. It's kind of a funny movie, but you don't have to play it humorously, and that sounds difficult.
I don't know. I think that there's a lot of room for humor. It is kind of funny what you're doing is knocking people out, taking their clothes, dressing up as them, and then trying to go unnoticed. It's sort of, I think that's kind of funny.
But you have to make it cool, whatever that means.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. I mean,
Zach, I'm curious about, I had like heroes flashbacks in this movie because you have this like perfect scowl at times, and you get to play really evil, which, it's ambiguous who's good and who's bad, but everyone gets to be good and everyone gets to be bad in this movie, which is fun. Was that entertaining? Did you want to be in bad mode again? I don't know. You don't get that chance very often.
I was drawn to the duality of it for the ambiguity and the sort of fact that it starts to go one way and then turns back on itself a little bit. I liked that, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of an interesting bookend for me in terms of like the evil vibes. I feel like I can hang up that hat for a while and explore some other territory.
No more evil characters for you.
I didn't say that.
Never say never.
I just said for now. I feel like it's a good bookend on that experience that you hearkened back to, like with Heroes.
Sure.
American Horror Story, like some dark shit. I want to brighten it up, Matt.
Yeah, you got it. Diversify. You got to smile a little bit. Even Spock doesn't really do smiling. You got to get like a really smiley role going on. Do you have something?
I got to get a smiley part.
Smileys.
Can I speak to my agent?
Does anyone have a smiley part?
Smiley immediately.
Henry, Rupert, can you guys talk about going on your journey together in this movie, just about figuring out the relationship, almost what you were talking about, you're bouncing back and forth between all these different scenes. How do you find something? Do you get to rehearse in these type of movies, or where do you find a dynamic? Just on your days? Yeah, it's a bit of a how question, Rupert. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to pass that one straight across to Hannah.
What was that?
Just about how you carried me in the movie, Matt was asking.
Yeah, how did you save Rupert's career by performing against him? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I'd always joke that I was his Robin to Rupert's Batman, so I was his kind of sidekick. So if you can imagine that. Rupert does like to... I don't really know what to say. How did we find... Can you help me out here, Rupert? Why not?
He can't help you. Well, here's a better question, maybe. How important is watching movies when you guys are going to star in a movie? Do you want to watch past screen performances? Do you want to find these kind of really fantastical roles in the history of pop culture somewhere? Do you see references for your characters somewhere to figure out something so fantastical?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, that is. I think that things come to mind when you're filming and then you're forming a relationship with the character who you're playing opposite. But I don't necessarily think that I don't at least start out seeking certain things that I'm going to model it on. I think it should be relatively organic, and you find it as you go. But of course, you're constantly inspired by films and pieces of art and various bits of music that you've experienced.
Music's a huge part of this movie. I wonder if music, and I think about actors a lot, how do you get in the headspace? Music seems like an obvious answer maybe, but did you guys listen to music to get you there? Or maybe not on this job, but in any job, I don't know.
I do, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I think music's just an inherent part of our cultural, lives. So to the degree that can inform an experience either on film or, like I was doing a play last year, and what I listened to for the 45 minutes before we went on stage kind of had some bearing on, that evening's performance invariably. So yeah, music is, and they do use music really well in this film also, I think.
Loud music.
Do
you have a preferred loud music to like get pumped up?
I'm super into Cheerleader right now. I can't get it out of my head. It's like I can't stop with that. I've been like trying to avail myself a little more to like the pop music trends, because that's not really my jam so much. But lately I've been like, all right, Cheerleader, you're working your way in to my heart.
Rupert, are you a music person? Do you need to listen to something before you get?
No, I'm just wishing I'd listened to more talking heads for this film. I think David Byrne and Agent 47. I think that would have been brilliant.
Wait, why?
Right?
Expand on this idea. That's crazy, but why?
Think about it. Just with a little bit of Peter Gabriel, like early.
I want to get your Spotify playlist after this and figure out what you were listening to.
Okay.
Hannah, how about you? Is there something?
Yeah, I'd actually make I make playlists every month, and I have a Berlin. Yeah. I subjected
Zach's
to
like,
Rupert
why
to
am I
quite
not getting
few.
invited?
Well, I mean, I will say, because I don't know if you guys know Hannah's sister Jessie is a really amazing singer and artist, and they're really close and cool. And you're the person that, like, a year before Sam Smith's album came out, you're like, you've got to listen to.
I love his impression
I
of
love
God.
it. No,
I want to hear this.
no, not between two Brits. But she was
Hannah,
like, you've
Hannah.
got to listen to this guy, Sam Smith. And I was like, okay. And she played a song in the makeup trailer while we were
Yeah.
shooting the movie. It was like the year before his album came out. So you should stick with Hannah's musical predictions, I would say. She's got
Music
good taste.
forecaster. I also think smell's really important. There are certain smells I can't smell now.
Wait, there's certain smells you can't smell
Yeah,
now?
I think that informs stuff as well. Yeah.
Wait, please talk about it. So there are smells that you associate with this movie, or there are smells like, okay, like
Yeah.
what?
Oh, just a certain. There was this certain smell of the. We sound so fancy, and so
You're allowed to be fancy.
at
in a
Soho
movie.
House in Berlin, there was this certain like smell that it had, and it was probably lots of cow shed, to be honest. But I can't sort of, if I walk by any, I just can't do it anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's that very specific smell. And and because they're expensive products, I'd like lather myself in it because it was free every morning. And now I can't go near any of that stuff. It kind of not because I had a horrible experience.
Just to clear that up. Not because you
It just brings back too many memories. I think smell's such a potent kind of
Smells the
stirrer.
strongest sense that is attached to memory.
Yeah.
So you can really draw, yeah.
And before we throw it to audience questions, since Zach did his impression of you, I feel like maybe you should do
You
your
have
can't.
5 seconds.
your impression of
4,
Zach Quinto.
3, 2,
No.
1. Time's up, Hannah. So sorry. Audience
Fair.
question time.
All right. Nailed it. Saved her. All right. We'll open it up to. We'll open the floor. Anyone?
This question is for Zachary. Is there one, if there is one, thing that you love the most about your profession? And by the way, you were great in the slap too.
Oh, thanks, man. If there's one thing that I love the most about my profession is that I'm lucky enough to get to do it. You know, that I get to work, and that's not lost on me, that I really feel like so grateful, actually. I love, so many aspects of it that I definitely feel like there's moments where I'm walking around and I just remind myself, like, this is amazing, So I don't know how to be more specific about it than that. Just, I would say, gratitude somehow.
Hi. So Agent 47 seems like an action-packed, adventurous, fun movie. So I wanted to know, what are some experiences that you take away from it, from your own?
From the movie?
Yeah, from the movie.
Like memories?
Smells
Memories?
are one. Non-smell memories of Agent 47.
I have a memory of Singapore, of this hotel that we stayed at in Singapore. The architecture, again, of Singapore was it left a real impression on me for sure. And the hotel is in the movie. It's actually the swimming pool that Hannah swims in the film. And it was a bizarre but kind of like cool place. I don't know.
Yeah, that hotel was very swampy. Do you know what I mean?
Very swampy.
Like muggy? You'd be like
Had a
humid?
garden outside.
Yeah, Singapore was very swampy. It's like a swampy climate, but the hotel had like
A swamp in it.
greenery growing on the hotel, like trees and platforms of gardens, and it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Rupert, anything in the heat of battle? Do you remember anything from?
In the heat of battle.
You were.
I
you're
remember a
often
smell.
Found... Do you? Do you have a smell?
Do I, guys?
Do you have a smell? Like, does Rupert smell?
I didn't mean it like that, but maybe he does have a smell. I can't.
We fought
I can't smell you
side by side.
Yeah, no, I never felt like there was any odor.
It wasn't
No.
overpowering.
Everyone was
It was
deodorizing properly on the movie. Anyone?
Hi guys, you seem hilarious and very interesting people. I cannot wait to see the movie. I wanted to ask you, what were your beginnings as actors, and in what moment you felt this is your breakthrough, that this is the moment where you're going to become famous, where your career is just going to fly?
That hasn't happened.
I was going to say, I'm waiting for that one.
This movie.
I mean, your career, it's like an interesting thing. Like, actually, you say, I don't mean to be flippant about it, but like that idea is like, everything is a new experience, so it never feels like it's going to fly without you kind of piloting in a way, if that makes sense. I don't know. I feel like I've been talking too much. You guys should talk. Hannah.
Well, I'm not as established as Zach and Rupert, so I feel like very much the newcomer in this trio. But yeah, and I definitely can empathise with not feeling at all like this is my moment, or this is when it happens. And I just always hope I learn from every job I do. But I came to acting very late. I was 25 when I started, so...
That was 6 months ago.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, did this movie feel very different than the other jobs that you'd done? Did it feel like, I mean, it's a studio movie?
Oh, this is a huge deal for me. I haven't been the lead of a huge studio film. So, yeah, it was daunting, but it was something I was really excited to do. And
what was the first day of this movie? What did you guys shoot? Was it the end, like you mentioned? That was
The
early
first
on. But
day.
what was the first day of shooting?
My first day was in the car, the scene I told you about.
Right, okay. Gotcha.
I had a very sort of non-eventful first day. I was sort of exiting a building. So
That's good. That's like
Yeah.
a slow build.
It was a slow build-up, yeah.
Perfect. Anyone else here?
Hi guys, how you doing? This film touches upon an assassin that's been genetically modified. What do you guys enjoy the most about today's technology?
I see how we made the jump there.
It's a complicated question. Technology is it's obviously a really powerful civilization-changing force, but I think it's what we do with technology and whether we're ultimately able to maintain control over it that's going to really dictate how it affects us in the long run. So I don't think it's a simple, I mean, what do I love about it? I love Instagram. I don't know. I mean, it's cool that we could like walk around and do stuff like that, absolutely, but it's also a little scary and unnerving. I think I tend to be a little bit more like doom and gloom about technology than a lot of people who see the great potential in it, but I think we have bigger problems that we're not really facing. What am I talking about? I have to go home.
I still have a Hotmail account.
Yes.
So
Wow.
that's how much I've embraced it.
Not an AOL account? No, I'm saying.
Oh. Snap.
Hey, people do. That's what I'm
Snap,
saying.
man. Who's throwing people under the bus now?
What? Not like that. Rupert, wait, what about you in technology?
I was the last person I knew to get a phone, and I didn't have a phone at all 2 years ago. And it was
They have to mail you? Like, what did they do to get you something?
They would, people would, how do we get hold of him? And it was like, just sort of
How did they get a hold of you? They leave you
to
messages?
wait till I wanted to be. I didn't want to be contacted. It was
Right.
very like, and then the whole social media thing I found a little bit tricky, and I can really see a time of just cutting loose from the whole thing. So like, as in no phone, no social media, no internet, nothing. So in a way, it's like I find the more inevitable. When you try and sign up for a service and it says log in with your Facebook details, and I say I don't have Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
And then they go, well, then you can't have the service. I
Yeah.
find that very scary because it's like, why should one thing be necessary for the other thing? Let us tap into your contacts, and then we'll give you the music. Let us take your music, and then we'll give you the films. Do you know what I mean? That stuff, I think, is a bit...
So this movie played
The AOL
basically
guy-
right into your paranoia about technology. They're out to get you, Rupert.
Yeah. No, I just realized, I saw your face, and I was like, we're on an AOL stage, and you were like, it does not compute.
Yeah, see, I was championing AOL before. AOL,
Yeah.
Pushing
Go
forward into
AOL.
technology. Yeah, you got to embrace it. Well, the question is, does being disconnected help you as a performer? I mean, do you know about what everyone's talking about, or does it help to just kind of be in your own zone and learn from the script?
For me, the single most important thing is imagination. That's it. You make the whole thing up, for me. Some people like to be, much more tuned in to other sources, but for me it's entirely imaginative. So I don't particularly feel the need for other input on that.
Yeah, I just got a question. What was your favorite Nintendo video game?
Mine? Me?
Yeah.
Oh man, I loved them all when I was into it. I was into everything. Super Mario Brothers, Rygar. Does anybody remember Rygar? Yeah? I was really into Rygar. Metroid I loved. I mean, I just loved that first thing, and then it was like I grew out of it.
What happened? Grow out of video games.
I don't know. I guess I found other things to do that took up that time space. I started acting actually. I started like after middle school, I started like acting. I would go to acting class instead of come home after school kind of things.
Last question.
Hi. So I know there's a lot of action in this movie. I was wondering if you guys did any of your own stunts, or if it was all stuntables, and what was that like?
We did. I mean, we fought the hell out of each other and threw ourselves around quite a bit, which I enjoyed. I thought it was really.
Yeah.
It was fun and challenging in its own way, but yeah.
I'm kind of hurt that you didn't notice. Why did we do it if you didn't even know?
Touche, Rupert. Touche.
Well, I think that about wraps things up. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Thank you, guys, for joining us.